Before we dive into this alternate timeline, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. In the Alternateverse, one change in history can reshape the entire world. And today, we're exploring a what-if that could have saved tens of millions of lives. Imagine this. It's 1907, Vienna. A 17-year-old aspiring artist named Adolf Hitler stands nervously outside the Academy of Fine Arts. He clutches his portfolio, filled with carefully drawn sketches, dreaming of a life with canvas and brush. In our timeline, the answer was no, twice rejected. But in this reality, the answer is different. A simple stamp on a letter reads, accepted. And with that, the world changes. Instead of political speeches, there are gallery exhibitions. Instead of swastikas, oil paintings. Instead of a dictator, we get an artist. So, what happens next? With his ego validated and passion nurtured, Hitler begins attending classes at the academy. He studies under renowned professors, focusing on architectural form, human anatomy, and classical technique. In the quiet halls of the academy, he finds identity, structure, and community. The anger that once brewed in him, from poverty, humiliation, and rejection, is slowly replaced by artistic obsession. He moves into a modest flat in Vienna's artistic district. He frequents cafes with other young creatives. He debates styles, critiques, the meaning of color. The First World War still looms ... But this Hitler doesn't enlist. He has exhibitions scheduled. Art critics call him technically gifted, but emotionally restrained. He strives harder. World War I still erupts in 1914. Austria-Hungary still joins the Central Powers. But Adolf Hitler, now 25, continues painting. Perhaps he contributes illustrations to wartime propaganda, but he never experiences the trauma of the trenches. He doesn't breathe mustard gas. He doesn't see comrades blown apart. And most crucially, he never develops that intense hatred for the Weimar government, the Treaty of Versailles, or the stab-in-the-back myth. No war hero status, no Iron Cross, just brush strokes. After the war, Germany is still humiliated. Economic collapse, political chaos, hyperinflation, all still happen. But there's one crucial difference. There is no Adolf Hitler to galvanize the discontent. Fascist ideas may still exist, but without his unique charisma, his persuasive fire, and the way he could turn bitterness into belief, they never take root the same way. The Nazi Party, if it exists at all, remains fringe. Jewish intellectuals and artists continue contributing freely to German culture. The Bauhaus thrives. Einstein never leaves Europe. Freud continues teaching in Vienna. Germany doesn't collapse into authoritarianism, or at least not so fast. Without Hitler, World War II never begins the way we know it. No invasion of Poland in 1939. No Holocaust. No world war that engulfs the globe. Europe's political tensions remain high, of course. Stalin still rules the Soviet Union with an iron fist. Mussolini still postures in Italy. But without Nazi Germany, alliances shift. France and Britain pressure Italy differently. The Spanish Civil War might have a different ending. The balance of power in Europe is fragile, but without Hitler, the fracture lines shift. One of the most profound effects? The survival of millions of Jews across Europe. No Auschwitz, no Treblinka, no yellow stars. Entire family trees that were erased in our reality now bloom. Jewish writers, scientists, doctors, and philosophers continue transforming European culture. Yiddish thrives. Tel Aviv becomes a cultural hub, not a refuge from genocide. Perhaps the State of Israel is still founded, but not in the same urgent context. Perhaps Zionism becomes a slower, more philosophical movement, rather than a desperate exodus. And across the ocean, the United States never fights in World War II. No D-Day, no Manhattan Project, no nuclear bombs. Without the urgency of war, the 20th century American boom slows down. Women might not enter the workforce as rapidly. Civil rights movements are delayed. The Cold War becomes something very different, perhaps a quiet rivalry between America and the USSR, rather than a post-nuclear standoff. And what of Hitler, the artist? In this timeline, he remains a minor figure in the European art world. He publishes a book on urban architecture in 1938. Some art students find his style sterile, but he earns enough from commissions and teaching to live comfortably. He never marries. He paints cityscapes and meticulous interiors. One of his paintings hangs in a small museum in Salzburg. The plaque reads, Adolf Hitler, a traditionalist in a time of upheaval. He dies quietly, alone but not hated, forgotten but not feared. In this world, the future unfolds very differently. Berlin is never bombed into rubble. Hiroshima remains untouched. The United Nations forms from a desire for unity, not as a reaction to catastrophe. The space race, if it happens, is driven by scientific curiosity, not Cold War paranoia. The global refugee crisis of the 1940s never materializes. The term genocide never enters the legal lexicon. Humanity is spared its darkest chapter. And all because one art professor in Vienna decided to give a troubled boy a chance. History turns on the smallest hinges, a rejection letter, a battlefield wound, a chance meeting in a beer hall. In our world, Adolf Hitler's art dreams were crushed. And in the ruins of that rejection, he found rage, ideology, and absolute power. But in the Alternateverse, a different brushstroke rewrites the world. If you enjoyed this journey through twisted possibilities, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your own what-if ideas below. Because sometimes, one small change is all it takes to alter history forever. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.